Hi, I'm Dr. Susan Lange and I'm here with David Haas, and we are both prenatal and birth therapists, and we're exploring all kinds of different aspects that are really, really important from what David was calling earlier the infant-centered birth approach. Is that right? And there's a very specific term that Ray Castellino, who was our mentor and teacher, talks about, which is 2 layers of support. And I interviewed him in a video a few years ago about that, and there's been a lot of interest in that. And David has his own perspective of this. So David, let's talk about 2 layers of support and how you work with that.
Yeah. So again, as you were saying, Ray introduced this subject, and there's something about that when we have 1 layer of support, so for example, if you look at a mother and baby, so mum is 1 layer of support for the baby, but she's holding herself up to be there.
She has to hold herself up. I get exhausted just at the thought of it. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, so what does it take to support mum in that situation? And what Ray was saying was that, so where dad can be, it's like dad can provide a layer of support to mum.
Yes, and you've got your hand.
That's it. So there's dad supporting mum, and mum is there for baby. When mum gets supported, then she can let down in herself. And as we know, for the breast milk to flow, the mum lets down.
Yes, literally.
Yeah. Now, I was speaking at a conference in London, and I was hoping to do an exercise with the delegates, but there wasn't enough time. So I had a couple of colleagues of mine, Kitty and Chanti, helped me out.
And this was a large group, wasn't it? It was about 500 people, was it?
Do you know, I don't know the numbers. It was a Birthlight conference.
Birthlight conference.
Yeah. So I'm not sure of the numbers.
So quite a large group.
But it was a reasonable group.
Yes.
And so what happened was, Kitty was going to be supported, and the way it worked, because we are also body therapists, and she had support by, if I recall correctly, a hand on her lower back.
So let's say here's Kitty.
Yeah.
Okay, or let's kind of do a visual of this. So yes. Kitty.
That's it. So if that's Kitty and this is her back, and then Chanti negotiated, because remember the principles.
Remember there's the core principles that we just discovered and discussed with David in the prior video.
Yeah. So she negotiated and popped her hand on Kitty's back.
Okay.
And for me, standing a little distance away, I could feel there was a sort of a settling.
So it's like...
There was a bit of... yeah. And then it was my turn to come and give support to Chanti. And again, we did something similar. And what I noticed is that as I came into contact with Chanti, and you had the 2 layers kick in, that there was it felt like a huge deepening.
So it was much deeper than just Chanti supporting Kitty. Because when you came in and supported Chanti, who was supporting Kitty, that there was a whole different...
That's the thing.
Dropping.
Yeah. And what I found was that, I was talking to some of the delegates afterwards, and they were telling me they could feel it in the audience. So that's the power of it. When we get enough support, and in this case 2 layers of support, it not only affects us in that dynamic, but also who's around us.
Yeah. So that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
The 3 of you did your own support, and then there were just layers and layers of people being affected by that.
That's it.
Yes, that's it. That's fantastic, David.
MeridianHolisticHealth.com